All right, you got your own microphone for this one.
Oh, I do.
We're going to be talking about day 27. It's been a long time since we posted a video, so we're trying our best to catch up here. Day 27, we start in Virginia, and we are going to Washington, D.C.
Yes, we are.
This is our Washington, D.C. day. First timers here. This is before the big election, so we were safe. I was a little bit worried about going to Washington, D.C., but what are your thoughts of Washington, D.C.?
I think I would like it more without kids.
I 100% agree. We did go to the zoo, which was fun for the kids. I don't think we would have gone to the zoo, just you and me.
No, the zoo was fun. It was hot.
It was so
really,
hot and
really
humid.
hot. I feel like anything we did, we were trying our best, but I think the only thing we really would have wanted to do on that day would have been a water park or stay inside an air-conditioned building. But those weren't options, so we made the best of it.
Right, and there are inside exhibits there at the zoo that the kids would like, and then we have those misters that the kids would sit under for just getting drenched with wet. But if you're in the sun, it's hot, it's humid. Washington, D.C. is a swamp. That was the weather situation. Zoos are amazing, and it's fun to see animals. It's also a little bit depressing for me.
A lot of sad animals.
A lot of sad animals.
What animal was it that slept on? Oh, like the
orangutan.
Yeah. They just sadly came over. Never seen an orangutan cry, but
it felt like you could feel it.
Felt like I could feel that one with the crying orangutan.
I like history. The rest of the family isn't as enthusiastic about it. But we did go and we saw the White House. We were famished, and so we ate at the Hamilton because we like the musical Hamilton, and the Hamilton was great. And I had those Meta glasses.
Yeah.
Still have them, but this is when I actually started using them on the trip, because you can ask those glasses like, hey Meta, what am I looking at? And it will tell you the White House, or in my case I was like, what am I looking at? And it's the Washington Monument. Now I knew it was the Washington Monument, but you can ask things to your glasses and it will tell you things. So it's like, how tall is it? How many people would it take to stack on top of each other? And you can ask it all these questions, and it was really cool. So we're using those a lot.
And I think that entertained the kids a little bit too.
Yeah. I repeat what it would tell me. So we walk around the White House, Washington Monument, and then we went to the Lincoln Memorial, kind of that big reflecting pond where Forrest Gump famously gives his speech in a fictional movie. And we're in Washington, D.C.
It's very historical.
Yes, it's very accurate. I had to record my Medicare video. Noelle helped me with that, and then everybody else kind of had their feet in that little pond with their thing. But everybody was so hot and so miserable, and I felt bad because I could spend a week there, just going around and looking at stuff, but not everybody else could. So from that point, there was an NBA stadium. The Washington Wizards play in Washington, D.C. So Jared and I take off, and we're running past the Department of Commerce and Treasury and all of these historical buildings, but we don't have any time, and it's huge. Washington, D.C. was so much bigger than I thought it would be. And so we're running to this stadium while you two are making your way to the car.
Us three, yeah.
Or sorry, you three. You got a ice cream or snow cone?
Yeah, there was no way we were going to go to the car without getting something cold.
Yeah.
There's all those drink vendors everywhere on Washington, D.C., trying to sell you soda or sell you drinks, and every single one we passed, they'd be like, can we get one? Can we get one? Can we get one? So when we finally had a way we knew we were leaving, it was like, okay, let's stop at an ice cream truck, and we did that while you guys sprinted in the heat.
Yeah. So we got our picture out in front of the Capital One Stadium Arena. And then we went and met you back at the car. Getting out of Washington, D.C. was a little bit of a mess traffic-wise, but we got out. And then as part of this whole road trip, we're doing this as a family, but it's also a work trip. So business write-off it's important that I do work stuff on this trip, which I did. So in Maryland, we just had to find somewhere to stop. Probably should have picked somewhere fun, like Annapolis or something famous, but we just pulled off because I didn't know how much time we would have or what was in front of us. So we stopped in. It looked like Bowie, but I learned that it's not pronounced Bowie.
Right.
Bowie, Maryland. Stopped off at a little park. I recorded my Medicare video there. A lot of stuff was closed down. They had those little paddle boats that you could go out on the pond, but those were locked up, so we couldn't do that. But then we continued on our trek to our stay in Wilmington, Delaware. So if you're doing the calculations here, we start in Virginia, Washington, D.C., Maryland, end up in Delaware. So 3 states and a Washington, D.C. in there in one day. We get into Wilmington, Delaware, and as we were driving there, this is actually, I think, a funny story. We're driving there, and where we're going to stay, ET Family Travel, again, does everything for us. They set up the hotel, they set up the arrangements. It was awesome. And on the way there, the hotel calls us, and they're like, hey, the room that we had you in isn't going to work. Are you okay to be in 2 separate rooms? You don't have to pay anymore. Like, this is all on us. This was our mistake. Are you okay to do that? And it was a voicemail. And so I call back, and I said, yeah, that's fine. And I hang up, and I'm like, I wonder what like was somebody murdered in the room that we were supposed to stay in?
We jumped to the most logical conclusion.
Yeah, it was probably murder, something crazy.
Yeah.
So we were just going through on this drive of what could have possibly happened. Right. We're driving so much more open space. Delaware I thought was beautiful, like so much more open land than I thought going through it. I thought all of this would be so much more populated, and there are definitely populated cities, but there's a lot more open air here. We pull into our hotel, super unique, interesting, kind of cool hotel. There's a restaurant bar on the bottom, and then you're staying up there. And so we go to our 2 rooms, and at this point, Noelle is absolutely hangry. Like, she is not happy. Yeah. And we get it, right? It's been a long day. So we have these 2 separate rooms, and our plan was like, oh, the kids, it would be fun for them to stay in their own room, and then we had the other one, but Noelle wasn't having that. So the girls all stayed in a room. The boys got the other room. The Olympics were on, so I think that's what we did.
Yeah, that's what we did too.
Ate some food, we got some sleep, but this hotel has an interesting story on day 28 that we'll have to tell you as well. There's more coming to that. And the next day, we did 3 states and a Washington, D.C.
How many do we do?
7 states in day 28. So stay tuned for day 28.